What is up, YouTube? It is Wayland, and today I'm making a video where I'm talking about a diorama that I made over the winter break when I went to my dad's house in New York. I had made the diorama, but I left it there because there's just not enough room in my house. Like, I could do a tour, I'm not going to do that. There's just not enough room to put it. So I kind of just left it at my dad's house. But this is the process of me making it. And the reason I'm doing this is to show you guys, maybe if you have wanted to do dioramas in the past, but you've never really, gotten around to it, maybe that there's just like something that's holding you back. This is kind of my process as to how I did it. So maybe you can see it wasn't, it's not as difficult or as time consuming as you thought. I made this in a span of, I think, 2 days at the max. So I don't know. It's just a cool thing for you guys to look at. You don't have to watch this video if you're not interested. Click off. This is literally just my process of making a diorama. It's a very, very little diorama, and I actually like it, and I'm very proud of it. So anyways, I'm going to do talk over while I look at the images, so it might seem like, a little bit back and forth, but it's just because I'm looking at the images as well as you. I already photo edited, deleted everything that I wasn't going to use. There's going to be some videos and stuff like that. So anyways, without further ado, this is the process of me making my Titanfall 2 diorama. So first, we started off with a little sketch. As you can see here, the sketches are kind of different. And so the reason is because I originally started off with a diorama that was going to be a lot longer. It was going to be more rectangular, and it was this whole thing. I don't know if you can really make out in the picture what's happening, but there was supposed to be like a lava ground, and there were supposed to be rocks, and basically you have the two figures that are standing and fighting. So the one with the jetpack was supposed to be up in the air over the lava, and then the one on the ground was supposed to be standing on a rock. And it was really inspired by Mustafar from Star Wars. I'll throw up some images of just a general idea of what I was trying to do. Just a face-off in a lava sort of world. And it was supposed to be something that you could kind of invent your own story out of. And I really liked the idea of the lava. But as materials, and my dad would have it, we kind of realized that there's just no way that we could do that without it being time consuming and costly. We had the lights, we had the clear sheets of paper that we were going to use for the lava and everything, but we eventually just decided against that. Here you can see this is the diorama that we actually decided to go with. Originally, I was going to do the lava one, but then I decided, you know what, this might work because it's square, and instead of having them being enemies fighting like as if they were on Mustafar, they're actually friends, and they're combatants. I don't want to say friends because I don't know what the rules are with that, and they're just kind of fighting, and it was just like an interesting idea. Maybe they're trying to escape a glacier. Originally, I was going to have it tower over them, the side rock, but you'll see what happens. So anyways, here we're moving on. Now these are images of the figures. They have names. I know one is Anderson Cooper. I don't know what the other one is. So basically, these are the figures. I was trying to pose them in different positions to see really what I wanted to get with them, but it took a while, and the reason it took a while is because they have to remain close together. I didn't know if I wanted them back to back or if I wanted them facing each other or what I was going to do. Here's a picture of them. If they were on the lava planet, they were going to face each other and shoot at each other and whatnot. Eventually decided against that, like I said, for reasons of cost. I drew them in a little bit closer and thought maybe I could have them fighting, but they're fighting in like a small space. But then I realized even that looks kind of awkward. I wanted it to look a little bit believable. That was my goal from the beginning to the end, was making it believable. And so I just really could not go with the whole lava thing, and it was really kind of sad. So then I tried doing a way that they were facing opposite directions, or they were back to back or together, but everything that I came across just looked kind of awkward. It just didn't really work. And it took a while, but I finally found the position that I wanted them in, and yeah, that was it. This is the one right here. It kind of looks weird from this camera angle, but I think it's a very fair assessment of what I wanted, what my vision was for the second time around. The first time around, again, it was like them fighting, and the second time around, it was just with like camaraderie. It was like it was them working together. This is my setup right here. You can see A lot of lighting went into it. It's really funny because they're so small compared to my room. Like I'm making them look kind of like life sized, and then you just kind of see the real set. And I like that. I love doing lighting. It's really fun. Okay, so anyways, we finally came to the conclusion of what it was going to look like, and this is what the final sketch was. My dad was like, "Oh, maybe we could do a door," and I was like, "No, I don't really see a door being there. It just doesn't make any sense." And so they were going to be on like this cliffside. It was going to be a glacier thing. These are the materials that I actually ended up using. So basically I'm pretty sure this is acrylic paint. I can't really see from this image. I don't know if this is acrylic or if this is oil. Yeah, I use acrylic paint, very basic level of acrylic paint, super sculpty. I use some basic tools. This is all basic stuff that you can find. I can't remember how much it cost in total, but I think it was somewhere around $30-40. It was kind of expensive, but I feel like it was a good learning experience for me, and that was really like helpful. Is like knowing that this was a good thing and I actually did a good job. That's what kind of made me look past the cost. And so I think if this is really your passion or something that you're really interested in, then you should try it out. These are the products that I use. Next, you're going to see that a lot of this stuff I had lying around, and so we just kind of managed with that. Here's a picture of me, of the board, really. This was like the initial board. It was like a black board. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to have to ask my dad on that. But yeah, it was initially like a black board. We cut it down to size, and then we kind of placed them on top of it. You're going to see that there's tinfoil. And so basically, anytime you're using Super Sculpty, you want to use tinfoil. And the reason you're using tinfoil is because it's like the structure. Tinfoil is the skeleton. Because if you were to use the Super Sculpty, or any clay really, to fill in every single ounce, you would spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of stress just to get your foundation. And it's especially like you have to be wary with this, because this was a rocky terrain. This wasn't just any sort of thing, you know? Okay, so as you can see, I slowly started building up the tinfoil, and the reason for that is because I wanted it to be elevated. And I initially had this plan where it was just going to be really, really tall, but I think that kind of cut short when I was working with the tinfoil. As you can see, this is like just close-ups of how it kind of went. It started getting taller, and it was looking like what I wanted it to look like. Now, the thing about this is that you have to be a visionary. You have to be able to see past what you're looking at right now. Right now, it probably looks like just a bunch of tinfoil, but I knew what it was going to look like in the end. And it's going to start looking even more weird when I start adding the clay. So here's some of me adding the clay. It doesn't look like it took a while, but it really did. And so here's a video of me kind of applying the clay. You can't really tell from this camera angle very well, but it takes time, and it's a lot of manual work, like on your hands. Like if you've ever heard those people who are like, "Oh, your hands are really soft. You must have not worked a day in your life." Well, you know, I'm a teenager, but anyways, this is something that will really like give you like tough hands, because Super Sculpty is not like a soft material. So yeah, I'm just applying more. Eventually, we did run out of gray Super Sculpty, so we had to switch over to tan, and tan was the remainder of the Super Sculpty that we had. So we only spent like $40, but I think this was overall worth like $60 because we did actually use a lot more from the house. So it's really just like, if you have the stuff, you know, use it. Use all of your resources. My dad always says that. I always say that. I love to use every ounce of my resources. So anyways, continuing on, this is just more of me covering up the base. And as you can see, it's starting to look more mountainous. I'm speeding through this, but this took hours. This took from, if I had to guess, I think it took from like 1 o'clock to like 8. So it took a bit. You really underestimate it until you get behind this and you actually start doing it yourself. So here is the kind of layout, and it looks kind of crummy right now, and I'll explain why in a minute. It looks kind of crummy, and that's how all of it's going to look at first, because the thing about Super Sculpty is what you want to do is you want to start off really soft, and you just want to put it all there, and you want to cover surface area. Surface area is your second move. No, is your third move. Your first move is the base, second move tinfoil, third move surface area, and it just kind of works together. And then that's what the tools are for. So basically the tools are used as kind of like you can see in the video here how they're used. But if I can think of an example, a sander. So, you know, like when you're sanding wood so that way there's not splinters or it doesn't give you splinters, and you can kind of just, you know, put your arms down on the wood. So these are basically sanding materials, but for terrain, with Super Sculpty, and it could be used. It's also used on figures. I don't want you to think that Super Sculpty is only used for terrain. It's also used for figures. So here you go. And now I'm pretty sure this was the final product, and I was pretty much done at this point. This is a bit of an interesting thing. I didn't really imagine it looking like this. This was not my intention. I kind of imagined it looking more tall, more, you know, like epic. Like, I like the epic. The epic excites me, and I really wanted to look epic. But when I was finished with it, I was just really happy with it. It just looked right. It worked, you know. So here are more images. So now we had to start on the painting phase, and this was kind of interesting. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for the painting phase. That kind of bothered me for a bit. I was like, what am I going to do to paint it? Because I had initially had this idea where, if you've ever seen like sci-fi mountains, I'll throw up some images right now. If you've ever seen like sci-fi mountains, they always look kind of like they have black on the sides and then snow on the tops. But snow doesn't actually form like that. It does sometimes, and I've looked up images of like real life like mountains, and usually the snow is covering them. It's not really like black on the sides, and the black is the rock. And so I wanted to implement the sci-fi kind of thing instead of the actual nature thing. And the reason for that is because this is just kind of a fantasy image of something that I've created. You know, it's not really like real life. So here I am, just kind of painting and all that stuff, and I'm sort of applying this black layer of paint, and black was the first one that I wanted to do. I wanted to do black first, and the reason is because that was the foundation, so everything was going to get black. My original idea, though, was having a little bit of variety, from grays to black and all that extra stuff, but it kind of just worked out. It was just like black was the way I wanted to go. It just looked so nice. My original idea was kind of covering everything with white and then doing like a black and all this. But my dad suggested that we actually do kind of like snow, not snow covered, but snow, like it just snowed. So we decided to do that. I originally wasn't happy with it, but then I kind of looked at it more, and it just kind of grew on me. And I kind of like the way it looks. This, if you've ever seen like a storybook, like a children's storybook, that's kind of what I actually came out of. Like, I feel like originally my idea was to do something that is believable and realistic, and then when I was finished with it, it just looked like something out of a storybook, and I was really intrigued with it because it just like it felt really homey and it felt really nostalgic, because I've seen like those books. Here, I'm gonna see if I can throw up another image. I remember seeing those books that just had like this art, you know, and like this is how they did snow in those books, and it was really homey and it was really nice feeling. When I was finished with that, I was kind of happy with it. There's multiple ways you can go about painting a scene or characters or whatever it is you're making. Sometimes people use airbrushes, but I decided to just do this, and when I was finished, it looked nice. So yeah, here's me kind of showing it off, and then I finally put the figures on the thing, and they just kind of look like they fit. You know, I gave it like 24 hours to dry. It took a whole 2 days. It was a nice process. And then here's them, and then I'm trying to show more of like them in different poses and stuff, but you can't really see the scene. And I think it's mainly just a nice thing to have, because I've always wanted to do this. I've had these two figures for a very long time, and I finally kind of got around to doing something with them. So anyways, that was my process. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, this, if you're not into dioramas, this video isn't for you. This is literally just me and my process in making it. If you guys didn't like the video, sorry. If you guys did, like the video. Thanks for watching.